Hi there and welcome. In this reading, we're exploring the shadow self. The first question is, what is my shadow self trying to tell me? What is blocking me from acknowledging and accepting my shadow self? How is my shadow self impacting me right now in my current life? And what are the qualities or traits of my shadow self that I can integrate into my life? Because there are positive aspects of our shadow. There's things about ourselves that we haven't yet uncovered that live in our shadow that are positive. Okay, and there's that card. All right, so we're going to start off with the first card. And that question is, what is my shadow self trying to tell me? Calling the storm. So with what our shadow self is trying to tell us, that there's a lot of chaos that is within us, that there's a storm brewing at this time, and that we're really needing to look at our shadow, because the more we avoid it, the more the storm brews. If we ignore what is living inside of our shadow, that is the chaos, eventually it's going to blow. And I just want to get some tarot to clarify that. Yeah, we have judgment. There's things that live in your shadow that that you have done, that somebody else has done, that it's kind of like you're seeing everything for what it truly is, even yourself. There's things that you're needing to face that you haven't been wanting to face for a very long time. Seeing your part in something as well as somebody else's, or looking at something that happened to you so long ago that you have pushed it down so deeply that you're like, wow, that is still affecting me. Recently, I had that happen to me, and I had no idea that was still affecting me, and that happened 7 years ago. No idea. No idea that that moment, that time, that, 10, 15 minute, whatever amount of time that was in my life affected my thoughts, my feelings about myself, until I got confronted with this individual, and I was like, oh my God, like, this is the root of why I thought this and that about myself, because of something that happened between me and them. Like, it's like this root of who we are is in there somewhere that we don't even realize it. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying that like we're all like these, these people that go around doing horrible things. No, it's like we've done things in our life that we ourselves have like not been proud of. And because we haven't yet forgiven ourselves, that lives in our shadow. If somebody else has done and we haven't forgiven them, that lives in our shadow. It's like all these things build up, and one of which is anger. And it's like if we don't address that anger, what happens is it explodes at some point, and it's not very pretty when it explodes on somebody who doesn't deserve it. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't necessarily do anything that caused that kind of anger. You know what I mean? Yeah, and with the Knight of Cups, it's like this is your opportunity here to really, like the divine is saying, you're needing to embrace your shadow. You're needing to embrace whatever this is, because this will bring you back together fully. And then next card is, what is blocking me from acknowledging and accepting my shadow self? So what is blocking you at this time? And we have obsession. Get locked in, right, on something rather than actually going to the root of the problem. And then we're wondering why we feel a certain way, you know? And so that's what's blocking us at this time. We're avoiding it like the plague, right? We don't want to look at this, so therefore we're avoiding what we're needing to do. And sometimes what we do is we use our obsession or whatever we're locking into as a way to avoid things. So therefore we're avoiding our shadow when we really need to actually, you know, look at the shadow and really see what is it that's going on inside of me that I need to, you know, heal or embrace or, you know, confront. We have the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands came out in the reverse position. And the Queen of Wands in the reverse position, not a nice person, right? Some people will look at the Queen of Wands as being bitchy, you know, not a nice person. You know, she's snappy. She says things she doesn't mean at times because, you know, she has this anger. Like we said in the first card, she has this anger inside of her that she hasn't yet dealt with. So she takes it out on other individuals, right? And so rather than, you know, confronting the elephant in the room, right? She's locking in on other things and taking out her frustrations on other people. And that's what's happening. You know, it's like we're saying, well, this is just how I am. No, this is not how you are. You're using whatever this coping mechanism, this Queen of Wands in the reverse mentality as your coping mechanism, rather than look at your shadow and, you know, and see what is it that's going on with me. Because the Queen of Wands in the upright is someone who is passionate and someone who follows her desires, and, you know, and you're following your desires, but you're obsessing about these desires rather than looking at what it is that you're supposed to be doing, meaning healing your shadow. And because you're avoiding your shadow, you're not a very nice person when confronted with other things. You see what I'm saying? Because trust me, that's like I was talking about, that thing that plagued me all these years that I didn't confront. Yeah, it does. It affects the way you look at things, people, and situations in a way that you don't even know. You don't even realize. You don't even realize it. And then we have the Ace of Cups. And it's like, again, see looking at your shadow as an opportunity of growth and for healing rather than something you're going to fear. Embrace it. Embrace this opportunity rather than put the block up, right? And then our next question is, how is my shadow impacting my life? And we have, is this me? You're thinking that your shadow self is you. Your shadow has come up so much into your conscious life that you're questioning who you are. In that moment, you know, like when, say, for example, something's going on and you're reacting out of shadow. And in that, there's a brief time where you go and you go, this isn't me. That's not who I am. Or is it? Or, you know, like, you're not an angry person. You're not this shadow self. That's your pain. When you're angry like that, that's your pain. you know, that is there that you haven't confronted because that it's still living in your shadow. You haven't processed something. And so therefore somebody triggers you, and that trigger reminds you of that incident, which then you react to that memory rather than what's really happening. And that reaction is an outsized reaction of what exactly is going on. And then in that moment, again, you're like, oh my God, that's not me. But you're not asking yourself, why am I acting this way? You know, like you're not digging. You're going back to taking care of something else or locking in on other things rather than locking in on that root of that problem. Like, why am I doing that? Why do I feel this way? Why do I react that way? Okay, let's get some tarot to clarify that. Yeah. We have the Queen of Swords, and she came out in the reverse position. Queen of Swords is a bitch. Straight up. Like in the upright, yes, she does speak her truth, but she speaks it in a way that doesn't hurt anybody. You know, the Queen of Swords in the reverse, yeah, she speaks the truth, but she's not nice about it. She calls people names. You know what I mean? Like she's a nasty person. She makes people feel bad because she feels bad. You see what I mean? And then when this happens, you're then looking at yourself going, is that me? Is that really who I am? And you're like, no, that's not who I am. Why did I even say that? I was mad. But why were you mad? Because they said, did that really get you to that point? Well, no, not really. And then that's the end of it, because you don't want to go there, because you know in your heart there's something buried deep that you're afraid to address. But what you're needing to see is that it's affecting your life and your relationships and your family and everything around you now. Yeah, and then the Empress came out in the reverse position as well. And the Empress in the reverse position, rather than her nurturing or taking care of or, you know, manifesting, she's a leech. She takes on other people's energy. She takes other people's stuff rather than building her own. She wants other people to take care of her, you know, like it's the total opposite. See, so it's like it's affecting who you truly are, because you feel as though, you know, I can't do, you know, or you know, because you don't want to actually confront the reason why you put things off. So therefore you think you're not able to do it. So your shadow is like really messing up your life without even knowing it. You're thinking I'm lazy when really you're not. You're not. You're afraid. You're afraid of change. You know, you're thinking that you're procrastinating when really you're afraid of digging up something, right? You know, so you just stay still. Like, I don't want to move forward. I don't want to go out in the unknown. I don't want to get hurt. You know what I mean? You're not lazy. You're afraid of the unknown. Like you don't realize why we do what we do, you know, until you really sit here and think about it, rather than think there's something, you know, truly like wrong, let's just say, with you as an individual. Like, you're not a bitch. You're not somebody who takes advantage of people. It's that you're so locked in and so afraid of the unknown that it's like what you're needing to look at is like, why do I feel this way, rather than thinking that's who you are, because that's not. Okay, let's go on to the next one. And it's, what are the qualities or traits of my shadow that I can integrate into my life? Because Dr. Carl Jung says that we're needing to incorporate into our, you know, our conscious into our subconscious, to integrate the shadow so that we're whole again. So therefore, there's aspects of our shadow that we're needing to integrate into our there's aspects of our shadow that we're needing to integrate into our conscious mind, which is our life that we're living now. And we have Masquerade. And let's see what that card, that meaning of that card is. And that's number 15. And right away, Masquerade to me is, it's somebody who has many faces, right? They have a mask. So you have many faces. But one of those faces, one of those people, one of those personas is truly you. Okay, so this card says, there is often guilt in taking the mask of Don Juan. The seducer is not a master of love, neither of manipulation. He is the master of what is fleeting in belief and transcending into the extreme. He is the master of the moment, and as such, he forgot all other kind of eternity. There is guilt if you care, but because you are building, there is guilt out of loss, but you are not treasuring it. There is guilt out of indifference because when we don't care, we cheat ourselves of meaning and value. Sometimes there is guilt in the selflessness, in the desire itself, in everything leading to pleasure, as if only pleasure that you can be scared of, only those labeled as such. The masquerade is a dance. It is a road that goes in circles and ebbs and flows and always ends with the first light. Before the time comes, hold it tightly, and when the time comes, let it go. It's kind of like you're with the card of the masquerade that's saying that you're in the negative aspect, that you're living in the moment, but you're not truly embracing that. It's like, it's fleeting. It's like, yeah, I'm happy now, but you're not carrying that happiness, that joy, or you're not able to live in the moment, every moment. And what this is saying is that you're needing to live in the moment rather than let your mind wander into those dark depths that get you depressed or make you feel hurt or angry or frustrated. Because once we release the shadow, it's like, don't go back. Don't go back to the memory, or don't guilt yourself into saying, you know, like being like, why did I allow that to happen? Like, once you release this, once you heal it, you got to move forward from it. And you got to forgive yourself and be able to live in the moment of who you truly are and to embrace what you have now versus, well, if I, you know, had have done this shadow work 20 years ago, I wouldn't be here today. Or if I had done this shadow work 5 years ago, I would have had this job, this relationship, or whatever, right? No, you can't go backwards. Once you embrace the shadow and once you live with the situation or you start to get to the root of the problem, you can't beat yourself up. You know, you're needing to live in that present moment of who you are rather than a fleet of, oh yeah, this is good and I healed that and I recognize that. You know, like, yes, that's good that you're seeing it, and yes, it's good that you're recognizing it, but you're needing to embrace that goodness and not see it as a fleeting moment. You see what I mean? And then continue to live in the moment of the now, because what happened in the past is in the past, and live in the moment in a positive way, not a fleeting way. Okay, so let's get some tarot here to clarify. Yeah, the Queen of Cups, like I was saying. The Queen of Cups is someone who's in control of her emotions, as well as someone who is emotionally stable, and is someone who is carer and a nurturer and a provider. It's kind of like the Empress, right? She's very intuitive. She's in touch with her feelings. She's in touch with her emotions. She's in touch with her intuition. So, and she is someone who is grounded in the present moment. And by being grounded in the present moment, we're not allowing, because these things will live still in our shadow. But what we're doing is that we're able to heal it and to control our emotions better. And one way to control our emotions is living in the present moment rather than allowing our mind to wander and to go back and to obsess on something that happened 20 years ago, you know, or allow something that happened 7 years ago to live in your present headspace. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, the Fool. It's a new day. It's a new day, right? Every moment is a new day in the present moment. That's what it is to live in a mindfully, right? To live in that present moment and just celebrate when we have the 3 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, right? Celebrate who you are. Celebrate your life. Celebrate everything that happens, no matter what it is, and see the joy out of it all. And don't go back to somewhere for a second in your head after you've released that. And that way of thinking and being will become your reality and will become a pattern of thought rather than the other pattern of thought, going back and beating yourself up or going back and allowing it to pop out and to affect you where you are today. It's time. It's will take time to, you know, change the way we think, but it can happen. It is possible to reprogram our brain and how we think. It is truly possible. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here. I hope you have enjoyed this reading. If you have, please like, share, comment down below. I love to hear from you. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. And if you have, thank you very much. And don't forget that bell so you're notified of your next reading. And I look forward to seeing you then. Take care and have a blessed day.